Hello and welcome back to KC Grandpa Tech. We're your geeky Grandpa Techs, tech, fun stuff, and much, much more. Hey, like I said, this is part 2 of TFCon. We went to TFCon this weekend, and we were at several panels and various things. I was at the panel for Beast Wars question and answers with Garry, Chalk, and Venus Terzo. All right, and I recorded it. So without further ado, I'm going to put that up for you and let you enjoy it. Put your comments in the section, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And there'll be part 3 will be my review of this show. All right, thanks a lot, and have a great day.
The biggest birthday singing celebration I've had in a very long time.
You got to look over a day over 21.
No, fabulous. Hi, everybody. I've got to say, quite honestly, that it's been a long time since I've been to a con, over 3 years, I think. And I can't tell you what a pleasure and an honor it is to be here and to see you guys. Because it's nice to connect with all you guys. And when you come into the dealer room and say hello, it's just a wonderful thing. It just reminds me of what a great show we had back in the day, and how the franchise is still going on, different voices and different people. And I'd just like to say thank you for being welcome.
Getting out of Canada and coming into the U.S. to this convention. I almost didn't make it because we had a lot of flight issues yesterday, but Colin and his team pulled through and managed to get us on a flight to get us here in time for this, so we really appreciate it. We love being here with you. We love seeing old faces and new ones. I'd like to welcome all those that it's their first TFCon. I'm sure it's exciting and you have a great weekend. So thank you for coming.
Now, I've never been to Baltimore, but I kind of like the music. Yeah, no, it's really nice here. I keep telling it, I've told me and I've told the other people. But my only connection with Baltimore is I keep saying the M&T Stadium, the bank. Well, I used to do all the commercials for M&T Bank here, and I used to do it for the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. And it was so fun, because I remember saying that catchphrase, M&T Bank, the official bank of the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but we're here for Transformers, not that. Anyway, I'm quite amazed. I got to tell you, I've been watching some of the new Transformers, the graphics, the graphic design, and the animation is. Well, I gotta say, it's pretty darn fabulous. The voices, aren't they? Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I mean, we were very fortunate living in Canada, like when they brought the show Beast Wars to Vancouver, that we were able to be a part of that. That was a great experience. Working with amazing actors and, of course, our amazing director, Sue Liu. And what's amazing and wonderful is that even after over 25 or 20, is it 25 years or 20?
Oh, it's more than that. We met on we
The
did,
event that we started.
we did a pilot for a movie pilot for a series for John Denver.
Oh, yeah.
And that was, the movie was called Higher Ground. And it was John Rhys Davies and
Was it Richard Mazer?
Huh?
Richard Mazer?
yeah, and
Michael Bender.
Mike Bender and her, and that's where we first met.
Yeah.
So that's, I'm sorry to say,
A lot.
was 34 years.
So that means I'm 22.
No, she was only 17. But there you go. Anyway, I know that you're just, I don't know what I can say to you except, is there any questions that you may have? Yes, there's a question. Well,
Oh, okay.
a forest of arms goes up. Oh my God.
This is the voice of the battlefield. Okay, I can do this over style, which means you do not touch the microphone at all, you keep your mask on. Sorry, this is the way it's going right now. Keep your hand fine. I will do my darndest to try to get to you. I'm going to start in the back and work my way forward.
When you were first coming up with the voice for Optimus Prime, did you listen to or watch the old cartoon Transformers to kind of pull from your own performance, or was it completely all made by you?
When I auditioned for Optimus Prime, I had no real previous exposure to the Transformers. In that, my only connection with Transformers at that time was I used to do the commercials for the toys for Transformers Generation 2. Remember Transformers Generation 2? Better so separately. I used to do those ads, but I never had any real connection with the TV series because, well, I was in my 30s, I guess. And so I had no preconception of what Optimus was going to sound like. So they made him a warm-blooded creature, an animal rather than a robot. So I thought I'd endow him with human qualities and compassion and all those the different emotions that people have, and the relationships with my fellow Transformers were well, they're quite human. We're like a big family. And that's how we treated him. We always had that bratty kid. What was his name?
Peter?
Roach. Rat Trap. I love Rat Trap. And I know Bob was that cousin nobody talks about. And Black Arachnia was the body everybody wanted, but she was that. Go figure. And Rhinoxy was like, your best pal. He was cool. And
Megatron.
huh?
Megatron.
Oh, Megatron, yeah. His pants were on just way too tight. I just thought, okay, Meg, calm down.
I think that was
The
a
big planet is only us,
It was a very character choice and helped him with his voice.
Yeah, but what happened was I auditioned and I was originally going to be Megatron. And David Kay was going to be Optimus. And then they decided, early on in the game, just before we started recording, that I was going to do Optimus and David was going to do Megatron. So it was sort of fated to me, and I'm glad they did that because Megatron is fantastic. I love him. Yeah. I love all this stuff that and Optimus was, shut up, this long-suffering guy, this guy, poor little Cheetor, an angst-ridden teenager, it was just. So that's what happened is they narrowed it down to the final cast, and I think the final cast is pretty darn fabulous.
Beast Machines. Did either of you change your approaches to your characters, or did you just go with the flow as if it was one continuous?
Well, when you're talking about the transformation from Beast Machines to the Maximals and the Transmetals and all that. What happened is the stories became more involved, and they also became more introspective, and it became less about battles and fighting than internal struggles, and for lack of a better word, a spiritual crises rather than actual physical ones. And part of me was going, is that a great idea? Well, it's good, and from an acting point of view, it's great. I don't know how it interacted or how it was with the viewers, but I sort of like the evolution of the series. It was pretty simple.
And a lot of times we weren't privy to the scripts beforehand because they were top secret. So we would get them as we would come into the studio, right? So we'd be reading them for the first time, and a lot of times we wouldn't record line by line. We would record scene by scene until they got what they wanted, and
Yeah, we love ensemble recording. Ensemble recording is the best way to go.
such a difference.
Yes, someone else. Yes.
How do you feel about Ron Perlman taking over your role as Optimus Prime?
Well, no, okay, here's the thing. Ron Perlman, great actor, love him, enjoy him. Very, very nice man. I played golf with him and spent days, chatting with him. He's a wonderful guy. I got to say that the episode of Kingdom that he did, they just weren't, they were kind of low energy, kind of flat, I guess. But that's the direction. I don't know how he's going to do on the movie. I hope he does well. I sent it to him because he is a great guy, a great actor. But I'm pissed at the people who created the show because they never even approached me, and I'm the guy who created the letter. They're working way on it. Go ahead.
If you would like to return into the role of both Optimus Prime and Black Ratman, how would your character evolve or stay the same?
I do.
Can you repeat that?
Would your character evolve from a different type of how they were before, or would they stay the same of how they were in the original?
Yeah.
Well, are you saying how?
Doug, how did it evolve?
Well, my character evolved. She was a Predamon and then became a Maximum.
Oh, you're talking about Dynamite? Is that what you're talking about, Dynamite?
No.
I'm sorry, I wish I could get
Okay, we asked how would your character evolve if it were being played now?
Yes.
Personality-wise.
Repeat that again.
How would your character evolve if you...
How would my character evolve? Well, this is what would happen. I'm so sorry, I'm just a little hard of hearing. How would it evolve? Well, for one thing, I'd become a little bit tougher. I'd be a little bit wiser, and probably less tolerant. That's what I think of it.
And I would be more conniving. I would manipulate the boys. I would use my brain to be able to one day become the head of Beast Wars.
The other guys, oh man, they're kind of pathetic. Terzo Warsaw, tarantulas, and poor guys. They just
Big tarantulas is great.
Waspinator. I mean, come on. Poor old Waspinator. He was like the biggest hapless area. Poor guy, always getting screwed. Yes.
Venus, what was the casting process like for you, and how did you come to the voice Flacoramia landed on?
We were sent on auditions for a new cartoon series that was happening in Vancouver. So we got a rough drawing of the character and some dialogue, and we went in and auditioned for Sue Blue. And then Sue, I had worked with her before. She was fantastic in helping me further my career in voice work. She directed me and actually helped to try to find the voice for Black Ramblin', because we tried a bunch of different things, and it was with her guidance and direction that we were able to come up with the voice. Plus the drawings help, because when you're looking at the character, you kind of want to emulate that person and be as true to that character as possible.
Hi, Venus. So, when you were playing as Black Ramblin', did you have any idea that she would evolve from Predacon to Maximal later on? And are you satisfied with how she turned out?
I had no idea, because like I said, we would get the scripts on the day that we would show up to record. I was very pleasantly surprised. It was just really great the way they wrote the character, right? I mean, she was evil, she did her thing, but then realized there's more to it than just what, she was awakened, basically. And I really loved the storyline with Silverbolt, because you could see she was struggling, but there was just something about him, kind of like in real life, where you're just like, he's not good for me, but I might just go for it. And the same for him. And it was just a lot of fun working with Scott and working on those scenes. It was so sweet and not unexpected, especially in these wars, right? A love story, but really all stories are about love. In the day.
Yes?
Garry, this is an absolute honor. Thank you for being here. I just wanted to ask, Garry, as you said earlier, computer animation is so much better today, so much more rich, and it looks beautiful. Back in the day, might not have aged as great as some people would like. It still looks good for what it was at the time, but it was brand new. Beast Wars was the second CG animated series. First was Reboot, which I believe you both worked on as well. My question is, what was your reaction to seeing your voices come out of a computer-generated character for the first time?
What is an actor doing my it's just, if I get the question right, it's just trial and error. How do you create a character? Is that what you're talking about?
What was it like seeing your voice come out of a brand new type of animation for the very first time?
Oh, okay, what it's like seeing your voice coming out of animation? Well, sometimes it's like hearing yourself sing. It's not pleasant. Most of the time it's okay. What I'm looking for is, I know what a voice sounds like. What I look for when I'm listening to a voice is, do I believe it? And if I believe it, and I can suspend my belief that it's not me, it's just a character, then I'm happy. And it took me a long time to get to the point where I could listen to myself and watch myself on TV without going, ah! Because here's the thing: when you do a voice, when you're acting, doing any kind of voicing, when you hear the voice for the first time, you're hearing it with your head, your sinuses, your jaw, your chest. You're hearing it with all these things. you have perfect sound quality. But when you hear it on a tape recording, you think it sounds kind of thin or reedy or whatever it is. But to other people listening to your voice, to them, it sounds like what it sounds like in your head. And you never get used to it because it's giving a true representation, but it will never copy the voice that's inside your head. So you may think it's thin and reedy, but it's not. It's how other people hear it. Like, I cannot stand the sound of my own singing. I listen to myself sing and I go, oh, I say stop doing that. But people keep saying, oh no, you have a great singing voice, you have a fabulous singing voice. And I'm going, how can you say that? It sounds like crap to me. But that's the way it is, and it takes a long time to get past that sort of self-criticism, because you know what's going on inside your head when you say those lines, you know. So you could go, like on TV especially, you watch something and go, oh, lie, oh, I believe that, lie. Thankfully, these days, now everything, when I watch my shows, I go, great, I'm telling the truth, that's all that matters.
Because voice acting wasn't what I initially started out to do as an actor, that just fell in my lap. It was very exciting, and I don't know how to express it. It's one thing to do film and TV where it's live and TV, but to voice a character, a cartoon character, is just so friggin' cool, right? And just the response that I get from people like years later that have watched the show, or I've done a bunch of them. It's just so rewarding because I get more, gratification from having done voiceover than I have live TV. I just love the fans, and I think that that's what makes it so special. Like, you have people that really appreciate what we do, and enjoy watching them. And,
you gotta remember those characters that you hear in cartoons. To them, they're real. And they live in a real world that may be fantastical to you, to us, but to them, the characters is real. So if they don't play those characters as real and as honest and truthful as they should be, when you watch it, there's something in the back of your mind that goes, nope, bad acting, horrible. And why? Because you're not lying very well. And people just don't believe you what you're saying. Right. And then because those characters, they're real people feeling real feelings in a real situation. Blah, blah, blah.
But I have to say, when you're watching your favorite cartoon show, that's entertainment. Like, you get lost in that world. Like, you don't even, it's not like you're watching, Venus Terzo is portraying a character. It's like you're watching the show, you're watching the characters, the characters that are drawn out, and it's amazing. And it's a great way to escape and to enjoy, watching your favorite shows.
I'll give you an example. How many people here, be honest now, how many people were choked when John Watt died? Oh, no, because, why? Because you cared about that character. Even though he was a bad guy sometimes and a good guy, you care about that character, and you care what happens to that character. The biggest sin as an actor is absolutely not. Anyway. There was another someone, I saw someone's arm up, and you've got it here. We get some of the front too, so. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much for coming. It's been 25 years since these tours first aired, and even in the last 5 years, you had these new toys of your characters portrayed, like comics. There's a new movie that's going to be like having these tours as a part of it. How do you feel about just the presence of the characters you played, like, recently, like, how they were portrayed, like, how fans, how fans still remember stuff that you've done 25 years ago and how relevant esports is because of your contribution to it.
Well, it's our contribution, but it's also your support. Like, we wouldn't be here without you guys. Like, that's the truth. And we really appreciate it, and we're grateful and it's heartwarming. Like I enjoy meeting each and every one of you that comes up just to say hi or to say, hey, I met you years ago at another con. You know, it's that's what's gratifying in the work that we do and for the characters that we portray.
What she said.
Hello guys, thank you for coming in. Beast Wars is one of the funnier Transformers series. There's a lot of funny lines and jokes, it cracks a lot of laughs, and I was wondering what are your favorite funny lines or jokes, if you remember any of them?
What, favorite lines from Beast Wars?
Like as a joke.
Humorous.
Humorous lines.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, one of my favorite lines was, oh, silly me. What episode was that? I was trying to help Rat Trap, and he did something wrong, and I went, oh, silly me for trusting him, but I went, oh, silly me. Why did I come by crazy? The other one, shut up, Rat Trap. Oh, you know, Optimus was kind of humorless. It was kind of, like, that guy, he always said the right thing. And you go,
Actually, Scott McQueen's characters have some of the funniest moments, right?
Yeah.
I know we have to agree on that. So.
Me as Terzo. Do you prefer Black as a Redcon or Maximum?
Both. He has many layers. And, like I said, when we started, we didn't know the direction the character was going, but I'm really glad it ended up that way. Because being a Predacon, obviously, I mean, the Maximus looked after each other and they were fighting for the good, whereas Predacons were just, they really wanted, to beat the other team. And, but I enjoyed playing both sides. Yeah.
I always wanted to be a Predacon. You know what I've always wanted to ask is, when the Predacons go home, they take a day off, sit around the ship, watching the game, having something to eat. What do they do? What do they talk about? They don't sit up there and go, hey, tomorrow we're going to really No, they're not. Oh, what a day I had today. Boy, Cheeto shot me right in the ass. I'll get up tomorrow. I'm staying home. No, I'm sorry. I just can't do it, Megatron. You're pushing us too hard. We always get hurt. You never get hurt. You're standing in the back there, lording it over. How did that conversation go? I don't know. I just like the same for the Maximals. What are the Maximals doing home? I want to make a pop.
They probably all get together and make popcorn and watch TV.
Yes.
Hello, first off, I want to say how much my honor it is to be here right now. I'm looking at Transformer fans. I'm from all around Mississippi, and where I'm from, it's rare to come across other Transformer fans, so it feels so wholesome right now. Like, I feel like I'm at home right now with everybody in here, and we need y'all. It's such an honor to be here. And Gary, I have a very big question for you. You have had the honor to be two of the biggest Transformers icons ever, Optimus Primal and Optimus Prime himself. Now, did you feel at all scared or discouraged when you took up the mantle of Optimus Prime over Peter Coleman for Transformers Armada?
Why me? No, I'm okay. I have no real problems with it. I just, you know, like whatever rolls, it rolls. You know, if I was to get, you know, emotionally involved or, you know, let's say attached to anything beyond the professional one, I could be in a lot of trouble. You know, I could, you know, be making great scenes on media. I don't do that. I just enjoy what I do, and if I can do it for as long as I can, that's all that matters.
Well, thank you so much, sir. And you
You're
did a
very welcome.
wonderful job as Optimus Prime.
Oh, we're moving to the front of the house. I can understand what people are saying.
It's either you two, and then I'll bring up the aisle.
Hey, when you guys got the call for, you know, the call for the show, and you saw that it was going to be part 2, did you realize it was going to be like computer generated part 2? Because only really 1 or 2 had been done at the time. And part 2, we've heard Garry do a little bit of Optimus Prime with Vince, and you do a little live acting.
Oh, sure. So your first part of the question was, can you repeat the first part of the question? Sorry.
Did you guys realize it was going to be a computer-generated part 2?
Did you know it was
Did you realize it was going to be a computer-generated cartoon?
Did we do what?
Did you realize it was going to be a computer-generated cartoon?
What? Oh, the Transformers Beast Wars? Actually, we had no idea what that meant. I gotta be honest with you, the fellows who created the Beast Wars, the CGI for Beast Wars, if you remember a song called I Want My MTV, remember that?
Yes.
Okay, the computer graphics that was in that show, well, the guys who created the CGI for Beast Wars did that music video, and that was their first foray into CGI. And it was quite primitive back then. And to be honest, Beast Wars was not, you know, compared to today's CGI. Beast Wars was pretty basic, but it was a pioneer. And that's what made it so special to us. But when I saw the first images, when the first images came out, I was just like blown away. That opening sequence with the ship and the ray guns and all that, I was holy crap, this is going to knock them off their ass. And I'll never forget when Ian Pearson was talking about Toy Story, when Toy Story came out. 350,000 hours of work went into Toy Story. And it took him over a year and a half to do an hour and 15 minutes. And he goes, that's nothing. We throw out a 20-minute show, a 22-minute show every week. And it's true, they did a massive amount of CGI. And I remember taking a tour of the studio where all the artists were. You know, the renderers, the backgrounders, and all that. No offense. But they had the guy who drew Black Arachne, had pictures of women, very shapely women, all over his cubicle where he was doing his animation. And he was using all these women as models for the perfect Black Arachne.
And if I remember correctly, the original model was an actual someone he knew who was a dancer of Asian descent. She was of Asian descent, and he modeled Black Arachne after her.
Wow. The same guy did Dog.
Oh, yeah, even when I'm bad, or even when I'm good, I'm bad.
I gotta tell you, 2 hours sleep, we're doing pretty good up here. Oh, yes, there you are.
When did you realize just how special Transformers was?
Well, that's an easy one.
When we met you guys.
When I realized it was so special, is I went to my first con, and you were there too.
Yeah.
Down in California, in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
it was at Disneyland.
What is it?
We were at Disneyland, and I remember the guy who was running the show came up and he goes, "It's okay, we're going into the ballroom now." And we go to a ballroom like this, and there were, I don't know, a few thousand people in this room, this huge room. And he brought me over to this table. There was a table, girls sitting over here. And I don't know if you ever saw Galaxy Quest. Remember?
Yes.
Remember when you walked into the convention and all the girls they go. This guy walked over and he said, "Ladies, this is Optimus Primal," and they all went. Okay, this is a bit weird. Then they brought us on stage, and the place went insane. It was just, they were just crazy, and I just couldn't believe it. I thought, oh, I never realized it. I had no idea that the show was like.
Well, because we're able to do conventions for Beast Wars, so we get to meet and see the fans. Whereas when we do other television shows, the people will come up to me and say, "Oh, I really liked you," and blah, 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 but it's very discreet, very quiet. Whereas here, you get to be part of this wonderful energy, and people just, like, they love the show, and they appreciate you, and we appreciate you guys for being here.
It's so funny, I've been all over the world. I've been, in Germany, and Czech Republic, and in Australia, and the fans are as rabid as they are anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter where you go, and it's like the people are just, they have this wonderful fascination and love for the show. And I remember doing a show in Prague, in the Czech Republic, and nobody spoke English, they all spoke Czech. But I had a translator there, and she was going back and forth with the same questions. And they were wonderful, just crazy. So to me, that first day in California was just like, oh boy, now we have to live up to this thing. We have to live up to this show, and I'm so glad we did, and I'm very proud of it. I've always been proud of it. And
you live up to it very well.
Huh?
You live up to it very well.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. This one is famous. As Garry mentioned, to bring your character to life, you have to be passionate, there have to be genuine. So, are there any ways in which you can relate to, or ways that you are similar to your character?
I'm not perfect. I do have a dark side. I'm not perfect. I do have a dark side.
Oh no, she's perfect. Yes.
Mr. Top. So I know David Kay's performance as Megatron is, pretty legendary. But you stated earlier that you had originally auditioned for Megatron in Beast Wars. So what do you think your version of Megatron would sound like? But what kind of Megatron would you have played had you gotten that role instead of David Kay?
Well, I always wanted Megatron to be kind of precious. I always wanted him to be no. That would have been funny though, but no. I had sort of a similar approach that David Kay had, in that I would say, launch the Cyclops. Yes, it's time to destroy these Maximals once and for all. Very similar, but with Optimus, same thing. You derive the character from the physicality of the character, and you derive it from the background, the backstory. And Optimus was always very tolerant, very forgiving, but stern and strong when it came to protecting his word and his ground. And honorable, very honorable, and that's what. So you have to endow that character with a different sensibility, and just like with any human. I mean, there's Hannibal, and there's Father Christmas.
What is your favorite thing about working on the Beast Wars show?
My favorite thing of working on Beast Wars, well, we used to work in a studio called Pinewood Studios. And Pinewood Studios was all rustic wood walls with paneling and and it was run by these beautiful people named, one person, Jean, English lady, who I just adored. And what I loved about the place most of all was having the opportunity to work with, Venus here, and with Scott, and Doug, and Alex, and Jimmy Burns, and Ian Corlett, and Richard. All of those people were just wonderful to work with them. Pauline and Bloom and Puma. It was just a real treat to go into the studio and hang out with these guys all day. And just
And it felt like a family because we would do it weekly, and sometimes 2 shows a week.
And the great thing about it is that we had already done many cartoon shows together before. Like the first cartoon I did with her was Captain Nintendo, Captain Nintendo Game.
Oh, wow.
But we always had I'm sorry, I got to that. She had this line that made people crack up every time. It was perfectly innocent line, but when you hear it out of context. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh! I came as soon as I saw the flare! And for some reason, it was really funny. I don't know why. The lion came out of nowhere. What? That's funny. And that was a great show because this was a new adventure for a lot of us.
That was my introduction to voice work. Was Captain N. That was my first cartoon series that I did in Vancouver.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was just I remember we had this director who was a madman, Stu Rosen, and he'd be going, hey! Remember he was banging the mic? Jesus Christ, you're making my ears bleed, man. But for whatever reason, we got along quite well. In fact, I used to play this with Mike Donovan, and I used to play a character. He used to play a character in an eggplant wizard. And I did this big hippo, and he would, you scoop yourself in pig. And very strange. Anyway, that was our first cartoon together, and that was in 1987, I think. 87 somewhere around there. And since then, we've done quite a few different cartoons, and Scotty and myself and Ian and the whole crew of us have been working for cartoons for 30 years. I think we're more of a family than a cast. Next.
Alright, the time now is 2:47, since we have exactly 8 minutes, so who got a question? No way. Anyway. If you have a question that I don't get to you, I'm sorry, but they have tables in the field room where you can ask a question, you can engage in a conversation, get an autograph, get a picture. It's all there. Alright, who's got stuff? I'm gonna go with, I can't do this. Alright, what about you?
Was there ever an episode you guys did but did not get aired?
Say that again, sorry.
Okay. Did you guys ever record an episode, but then the directors just decide not to play it?
I don't recall that.
Did we ever record an episode?
And then they decided not to play it.
Huh?
Did we ever record an episode and then the producers decided that this episode is not going to air?
No.
No.
No, that's never happened.
My
Oh, no, wait, I take it back. I take it back very briefly. Phil Hayes, who played on Reboot with me, and I played with him, we did a show called Sonic the Hedgehog. There was a grounder and scratch and grounder. Well, Phil played grounder and I played scratch. We recorded 6 shows, and Marcia Goodman, who was running the show at the time, came to us one morning and said, "We don't like the voices. Come up with something brilliant right now, or you're fired." Those were her exact words. Come up with something brilliant right now, or you're fired. And we came up, we had like an Abbott Costello thing going, "Hey, and nothing was working, they hated it. And so we flipped around and I said, "Hey, I'll play scratch, or I'll play grounder, you play scratch." And that's when I go, "Look, it's like a football." You know, and scratch goes, "Ah, what are you doing, grounder?" And they took it back to Hasbro, and Hasbro said, "We love it. Thank you." And that's how we got the voices. Then we had to re-record 6 episodes, so that's happened. But I've never had an episode. Yeah.
My question is for Garry Top. Have you ever thought about wanting the voice Megatron in a later series, similar to how David Kaye voiced Optimus in animated?
I'm quite I did get that.
Have you ever wanted to voice Megatron and have David Kaye voice Optimus?
No, I never did. I never heard his Optimus, so.
Okay, I have an incredibly weird question from an incredibly weird group of friends. What would you do if you woke up one morning and all of a sudden had hot dogs for legs?
Had hot dogs for legs? I'd probably eat my legs.
If I had hot dogs for legs, I'd cover them in mustard and put them in a bun. Oh, no.
Alright, we have 4 minutes. I'm going to go 3 people I've chosen at random. I'm kidding around the list. Okay.
I'm anxious fast, like everybody, the Beast Wars series was personally our favorites growing up. My question for you two is, how did you think about the series processing? I mean, when you first started with the battles, and then drawing in aliens of all things, and then the final series when you discovered you were actually on prehistoric Earth. How did you feel about that?
So sorry, I didn't.
How did you guys feel about the series processing from when you first started with Maximals against Predacons, leading up to when you discovered you're on prehistoric Earth with the Autobots and Decepticons asleep in the Ark?
Okay. I felt all right about it. I mean, as like Robert Mitchell says, the words I said, and yeah, I have a real problem with it. There's some complaints, but nothing bad.
I've been in the Transformers thing for about 4 years, and I've watched all these different transitions. But for you, well really for you both, the biggest transition was from Beast Wars to Beast Machines. How did you feel about that different change, and did you have to change up the characters as you went from Beast Wars to Beast Machines?
Do we have to change up the characters from Beast Wars to Beast Machines? Our characters pretty much stayed the same. I mean, they evolved, obviously, with the storylines. But for the most part, we didn't really have to change who we were.
No, I don't think they changed all that much. I mean, the character never changed, but the toy changed a little bit.
Yes.
And also, this is, it was at this point that the characters started becoming more introspective. There was that. But basically, the characters stayed the same. We're playing in the moment as it goes.
What was your guys' favorite episode of Beast Wars?
Huh?
What was your favorite episode of Beast Wars?
What's your favorite episode?
The favorite episode of
All of them. My favorite is,
the one where I can't remember the title, but Call of the Wild is when Optimus goes full ape. What was that episode called?
Guerrilla Warfare.
Yeah, that one. And the other one was the death of Dinobot. That was such a killer episode. I mean, it was just brilliant. I really quite like that. Those are my favorites.
and my favorite was obviously with Silver Gold, the relationship with that, just because it became personal for me, and it was just really cool to work with Scott.
Hi, my question is for Venus. So Black Raccoon and Tarantulas had a really psychologically complex relationship. What was that like for you as an actor?
Well, Alex actually is actually a really nice guy. But Tarantulas and Black Arachnia, that's a different story. He was annoying. Like, I remember that. Just really annoying and just couldn't keep up. Felt like he couldn't keep up when we just kept messing things up. But in real life, he's really nice.
And we'll be here all weekend, and I'm always glad to exchange words and say hello.